Bryan Wellbrock, and I retired as a lieutenant commander, LDO. Got a set of orders to the USS Intrepid, CVS-11. She was out of Quonset Point, Rhode Island. And again, transferred in the winter to Rhode Island, and got there the week before Easter, so there wasn't a lot going on and stuff on the ship. And so a whole bunch of us had checked in and stuff during that period of time. Snowed like crazy, and so my first official job on the Intrepid was to grab a shovel and get out there and help everybody else shovel off a flight deck. And you can about imagine the size of that space was, so that was kind of like make work to keep us busy and give us something to do. But eventually got assimilated down into radio and stuff like that, and started working in actually communications related functions. I spent about a year and a half on there, and I was getting close to my EAOS. There was two carriers that were CVSs. One was the Intrepid, the other one was a Wasp. They were both up in Quonset Point, Rhode Island. You had to go across the airfield and everything, so you had to park and walk across the airfield sometimes if they couldn't get over there. And the wind howled up there in Quonset Point like crazy, and it would snow and it was cold and it would be down there and stuff. So you get on board and no heat, or if there's heat, it's just in certain places. And so she was not very well habitability-wise, and it was just because of not just her age, but the way those two ships were built. They were made out of what we understood, and I don't know if this is a fact or not, but they were actually the Iowa-class battleships. There were going to be 6 of them, and they only built 4. And the word that got around, I can't verify it, but we were told that those other 2 became the Wasp and the Intrepid, because they had the engineering plants and everything in there that it took to make the steam and everything that they would need for launching and recovering aircraft. And they just went and put a flat top on wherever it was at, put a hangar bay on her and built it up from there and turned them in. So yeah, there wasn't a lot of, it didn't seem like there was a lot of care. I was young at the time. We had the old canvas bottom racks, and when you got on board, they give you a bunch of line and one of the pieces of canvas with all the grommets in it, and make you tie your own. And berthing and stuff was the junior guy was always on top, and you work your way down. We were 3 high at berthing, and you had to jump up and grab hold of a pipe and swing yourself up into the rack. And the first time we got underway, I wasn't thinking much about it, because you don't think where you are, you just think where your space is at. And I was crawled up in the rack and got off watch, and I was sitting up there, or laying up there, and just about to go to sleep, and all of a sudden there's this huge crash, or what I thought was a huge crash. What I didn't know or didn't realize is that my rack was right underneath the number 3 wire of the flight deck. So what happened was, that's the wire they all aim for. And yeah, between me and the number 3 wire was about this much room, and then whatever the thickness of the flight deck was. And you get up in the morning, there's paint flecks all over your bed, and stuff from the paint and stuff coming off the ceiling and stuff in it. But yeah, that was not the best place in the world to sleep if you're a watchstander, but yes. So I had kind of decided that if the quality of ships were all like what we had on the Intrepid, which was a really old ship, that I wasn't too sure if I was going to make a career out of it or not. So they sent me back to Quonset Point, and I was just working there on the base and the radio site and stuff that they had there. And I had a really good chief there, talked to me about a lot of things, and didn't really force me into anything, but just gave me a lot of things to think about. And I had a wife at the time and family, so the benefits, none of those things that you really knew about. But it gave me an insight into looking into something that had potential to do other things. But I told him, talking to the detailers, they said, well, you have to go back to sea and finish your sea tour. I said, well, I ain't going back to the Intrepid. If I go back to sea, it can't be that one. So he talked to the chief with him and stuff and everything, and got me on the William H. Stanley, which was a brand spanking new guided missile